This site behind us was built in 1906, and let me just double check that.
Off they go, bags in tow. Matt and Chrissy hit the road. Maps unfold, stories told. Adventures never getting old. Matt and Chrissy roam so free through the city, past the sea, finding joy in every mile, every turn another.
G'day, it's Matt here from Couple of Sitters, and Chrissy's doing a great job holding onto the camera. We are here with part 2 of the Bathurst Historic Walk Tours. Behind us here, you can see we've got the Crago Mill. This was built in 1906, and it was one of the most important areas of primary production for this part of the region. As far as what they did was largely the milling of wheat to create flour, and that flour was sold to the domestic market and also sold for export. This has now become a brewery. As all good things do, they eventually become breweries, like churches. Come for a wander, let's have a look around the side of the building here. So you can see what we've got here in this cream coloured building. This is a part of the original structure. A lot of the outside has changed, and there's been extensions added to this. And unfortunately, the place doesn't exactly look like it's really been treated as a heritage site, so to speak, at the moment. But at least they're recycling all their cans. So you can see here, we've still got this property listed here as the Crago Mill, established in 1906, and the older building up here behind us, which is the original red brick structure where the mill was housed. The family that built this mill were adopters of innovative technology, and it was one of the most modern mills of the time. And being as closely positioned as they are to the railway line, which you can see just over here next to us, it was the perfect placement to be able to make sure that the flour and the grain made it from A to B and then on the train to C as quickly as possible. So this really opened up a lot of production in Bathurst and helped the economy in the area grow significantly. We're at the second stop for day 2 of the Bathurst Historic Walk that we're doing here, and this is the old Milltown Police Station. Now this was built, if I'm not mistaken, in around about 1864, and it was largely on the back of the local, shall we say, respectable citizens who petitioned the government because of the amount of larrikins, and I think they were actually called larrikins back in the day, who were causing trouble in the area. There was a lot of drinking and a lot of fighting, and most of that stuff happened after dark, and apparently the theft had increased in the area too. So the locals, they called upon the government to be able to bring a policy officer in, and they set up the police station here in Old Milltown. And apparently, if you head around to, I think it's Cole Street, you can actually see the original old jail cell that was built to house 4 people. So this is now a functional Airbnb, and you can actually jump on and book a couple of nights to stay in the Old Milltown Police Station. Let's go and have a look around the corner and check out this old jail cell. So we're around the corner in Cole Street now, and what you can see behind me is the back of the Old Milltown Police Station, and that is the old jail cell that we suspected it was, and we've just confirmed with one of the residents who lives just here. She says, yep, that's the old jail cell. Heritage listed, they can't tear it down, so that's a good thing to see. But where we are right now, there's also some interesting information to share about this, because Cole Street didn't used to exist and parts of Havana Street didn't either. And this was a part of the old Milltown Cemetery. Let's go for a bit of a walk up the hill. So here we are on the last stop for day 2 of the Bathurst Historic Tour, and we're on Cole Street and Havana Street. And this area used to be the old Milltown Cemetery, which was first established in 1839. So this was from back in the time when Bathurst was a small British outpost as far as the colony goes. And the cemetery was divided into 2 sections, one for Presbyterians and Wesleyans and one for the Roman Catholics. Now, sometime after that, it was later let to run into disrepair and there was a bit of a health hazard in relation to the cemetery. Now in 1901, the government revoked the burial site title or classification that was used on the land, and it was then later rezoned and turned into residential and commercial. All of the graves that were here were removed and relocated elsewhere into Bathurst. So this wraps up the day 2 of the Bathurst Historic Tour. We're going to show you some footage of the Havana Street and Cole Street area, so you can get a bit of a sense of just how much this old cemetery has now become a part of the town centre. So this was back in the days when Bathurst were talent.